Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, got some messages already going here. Happy New Year. Everyone, let's go to work. Yeah, there we go. Happy New Year. I love the let's get to work thing. Mr. Tortorella, yeah, you got it. You got it. You got it, pal. Let's do it. So we're starting right away with a Happy New Year. Here's my unhatted person. And you can see it's a total improvement in my personality on the camera, but I don't want it to be all about me, so let's just do this. All right, I appreciate you all being here. I'm ready. I'm so excited to I've got a little recommendation here that YouTube's recommending that I guard my privacy and abide by community standards. Yes, community standards is what it's all about. This morning will be the I had 5 people on. No, there were 4. Maybe taking the hat off wasn't a good idea. So we're starting. Good morning. I'm feeling a little better today. You know, I've been sick for the past few days, but I'm making it. Yeah, happy 2025. Here's our tuning note, or tuning fork. I'll place a link. If you guys don't have a fork yet, A440. I keep forgetting to get a link up there. But you know how to find things on the interwebs, right? If you don't have one, just I like to put this. I was taught. You know, actually, I'm just having a memory now. I'm just having a. Yeah, I have the memories once in a while. Here's the A440, so you can get that 5th fret harmonic on the A string up and running. Raoul, Happy New Year. Tucker's in the house. He's checking out the mags. I've been flipping through the old guitar mags. He's down here just kind of hanging out. It's wet over here, so he's a wet dog, wet smelly dog this morning. And but he's checking out a new piece of equipment that came in the mail yesterday. I'm supposed to check out. I don't know exactly if I'm doing that today or not. It could be help, it could be hinder, I don't know. We'll find out. Hey Tucker. So here's the A440, and I remember when we were doing ear training that Don would tell us to bite it. Keep one of these small ones. Buy a small one, because the small ones you can get. Look at this guy wants the morning attention here. The small ones get. Hi Tuckerman. I've got to get to work there, dude. He's like, I don't care about you and your work. I care about you rubbing my chin. Oh man, he's such a good dog. It's so hard to just sort of just have him. Why don't you lay down? Come on, lay down. Come here, hang out, lay down. All right, give me a kiss. Here you go. He used to suckle on the ears because he was an early adopter, and he still does it as he's an advancing male. Good boy. It's okay. Talk. Murphy just came in. You guys want to see Murphy, my boy? Murphy. Hey, Murphy, come here. He's like, no, he's on his chair. This is the dog room right here. And they have cat furniture. They have all this. There's Murphy. Say hi to Murphy. Murphy. Look at his tail wag. Murphy. What's going on, Murphy? You can see we keep it all pretty well protected. But he's got his own recliner, his own stuff. And what's going on? Yeah. We put an underground fence up for them to run around, and they've got a few acres to go. They'll run for 10 hours until their little hearts burst because they're just so high energy. But back to work. So we've got this beautiful tuning fork. I got a smaller one because Don recommended. We were going through ear training process, and he's like, just go ahead and get one that you can keep in your pocket because you need to memorize A440. You need to memorize it, right? You need to internalize it, and then every half hour, you take it out of your pocket, you put it in your mouth. Once it's vibrating, don't touch the tines, as you know, because it will stop it will choke, obviously, the vibration. So he says, I want you to memorize A440 to everybody in the classroom. And so everyone's like, you're a crazy old man. But he was right. 3 months of that, and you've got it. You can sing it anytime you want. So if you don't have an A440 tuning fork, It's a great thing to have because it vibrates your skull, and then you remember, you don't always just remember the pitch. You remember how it feels in your head. And so you just think A440 and it's like, oh yeah, I remember how that feels. So it's just a wonderful strategy to get things moving on. Let me go ahead and continue tuning. Which chord, Raoul, Mr. Werner, which chord do you use to check if your guitar, you know, that's a great one. That's a great one. Mr. Hoffman used to use, the late great Tom Hoffman was telling me that you use the one and only. Make something out of nothing, Mr. Hoffman. He used to use the E major, the E major chord add 9. I guess it's just an E add 9. You know, this one in open position, or he'd use like the E major 7 in open position. You know, those kinds of things. Or he would just play. I've got to figure out how. Just got to fix this this viewing issue right here. Just bear with me just for 1 second. We'll try to get, we'll get it sorted so we can see more of the guitar in the frame here. And my intention was to get, you know, one of my drum thrones up here from the studio, from the shop down there, but I just didn't feel up to getting out of the house yesterday. So I rode the bench most of the day yesterday and recovered. So still got a bit of the cold. Hey Tucker, come on. You want to say hi to the boys and girls over here? Yeah. You want to say hi? All right, good boy. Why don't you lay down for a minute? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let me get right to that chord though. Bear with me just for one moment. It's hard to just kind of turn this guy off, you know, and just try to tell him no, because life's so short for some of us, you know, and look at how he's cuddling and, you know, he just wants to be part of the situation all the time. If you don't have a Springer and you're considering getting a dog, Springers are like, they're Velcro dogs, and they're just super breed, you know. So anyway, here Tucker, I've got to tune my guitar, man. Now he's gonna, he's smelling my guitar. And then, I think I'm pretty much here. Stop it. No. All right, now we've got to stay down here. No, we've got to stay down here, okay? He's looking at me like, what are you talking about? He's like, why don't you stay down here? So here's the E major chord, E major add 9, and then here's what it looks like, you know, in good form, you know, and possibly good form. It's the open low E, we're dropping the E, and then fret 2, fret 4, fret 1, open and open. And, you know, it's pretty close. The other thing was just, if you can use the 12th fret harmonic to just kind of rake through, you know, scrape through the string set, just like you're scraping data with, you know, Wireshark or whatever, you know. No, it's not that same thing. You're scraping that a little bit, and you scrape through, and then that should give you a sense of what is in tune. Eventually, you'll develop a sort of an innate sense of whether it's in tune or not. Sounds to me like we've got some things microtonally out of tune. So I'll go back and check. Here we go, the high E string's out. It would have been more impressive if I would have just told you the high E string was out, but you'll get to that point where you get this done quickly, lickety-split. Like one of my flatmates in England was, you know, like every other word was like between sips of snake bite and, you know, football games. It was pretty rad, pretty gnarly for an actually like me, you know. So I'd go through that tuning process, right? And then what I'd do is try a bunch of different chords. You know, maybe I'd play Melissa or something, you know. Oh yeah, take off your pants and jacket as well. Yeah, of course I can play Blink-182. What kind of questions? I thought everybody. It's like the first thing you do after you eat your first few bites of Gerber baby food. You know, you get programmed how to play Blink. Yeah, if you don't, you gotta play Blink. You've got to play the Blink. Which chords do you use to check to make sure your guitar is in tune? Now, A7's another good one, right? Because I can roll that sucker. You know, it's perfect because I can pretend I'm Danny Gatton this morning, you know? And what a great thing. What a great, if ever you were going to pretend to be someone you're not, Danny Gatton would be just a privilege to be. So we have this. Not like I'm doing them any justice, but basically I'm going to run up that, you know, the major, minor, what is it? If I'm going to play A7 is from the D major chord, D major scale, right? So I've got to make sure that I'm using F sharp and C sharp here. I'm going up the scale, basically climbing the scale on two different strings, right? So I've got an D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D, and then B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and a B. So I've just got to make sure I climb that D major scale in two places at the same time. I'm going to leave the open A alone, I'm going to leave the open G alone, and then if I'm lucky, I'll make all of those things happen. Bro, listen to me. Can you play Nirvana Lithium? Oh, yeah. yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? You know what's really cool? There's the Lithiums are really, they're all so good. They're all so good. And are you into like In Bloom at all? Like, are you getting into that at all? So here's fret 2 and 2, and then frets 4 and 3, 5 and 5. I'm just getting over a cold, so please excuse me. 7 and 7, 9 and 8, and then, you know, 11 and 10, and then we get the old 12 and 12 going here. We're just ripping through the. Sounds to me like something's out still. Sounds like the G string got out by somehow. I'm not sure how that happened. D string's out. Just the act of tuning, and then what I'll usually, you see me tugging on the strings when I'm tuning too, because when I tune things up, it doesn't always bring all the slack. Sometimes more slack gets drawn over the nut. And then that will end up just kind of giving us a little bit of a problem. And when we start playing, it'll kind of draw that slack back over into the active area of the string, as you know, and cause problems. So I'm trying to get all of that slack out from behind the nut, so I have a stable tuning. You know, and once in a while, I have to tell you, this is only a problem for real guitar nerds. So I must confess. But sometimes what'll happen is you play a guitar, you're gonna have this you know, right where the string goes over the nut, you're gonna have like a little buildup from your finger, your hand acids, and then all of the oils and stuff. They get up all up in there, and then they harden. And then that when you tune the string, it'll go click, and then all of that stuff, all of that pressure that was mounting, it just gets released. And it's not helpful for the tuning process. So what I recommend, you probably already know this, but when we're really getting to higher levels, which we are definitely going to get through very high levels, elevated levels of guitar playing this over the course of this year, just get a little pencil, you know, one of those little lead pencils, a number 2 pencil, loosen the string, set it off to the side. Of course, you have to remove your capo first, obviously. Just set that thing on loose, and then just let your string flop over the side, pull it up over the side, and then color underneath the nut, you know, with a really sharp pencil tip. And then that graphite will act as a lubricant so that you don't get that problem anymore. I obviously haven't done it to this guitar yet because it's relatively new. I'm still in the honeymoon phase with this thing. But that's what's going on with this guitar. Once in a while, you'll hear it click when I'm trying to tune. Now we've identified the problem through Raoul's, like, yeah, how do you check to see if you're in tune? And it's a good thing to check and, you know, make sure that we're in tune, because you heard right away, but by the time we get up to fret 12 and, you know, 11 and 10 on this A7 ascending pattern, we heard the D string was definitely out, and we would have just let it go otherwise, you know. So definitely worth checking the guitar for tune. The last thing we want to do, especially when we get closer to ear training as part of our warm-ups, a little bit, maybe a month or two down the road, we're taking this seriously. We're really taking this seriously, like we're developing a skill set to, you know, take this thing to the moon, to Mars if we need to. Now B string's out. Just got to check that one. We might talk a little bit about some Jennifer Batten techniques today too, later on, after we tune up. So, oh yeah, forgot, if you're new here, what we're doing is, this is all about waking up in the morning, getting the mind right through the breathing process, and tuning the guitar, and then warming up on the guitar, as if we were warming up our arms to make a throwdown from the plate out to, you know, the short or the second basement, you know what I mean? You don't just start doing that stuff cold. I mean, I guess some probably do, because you're walking around in a state of perpetual warm-up because you're playing 8 hours a day. And even if we're playing 8 hours a day, I made a commitment to be here all year, every day, 5 days a week anyway. 7th Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I would encourage anyone who wants to do the guitar, you know, check out monumental gains and assess gains from this video today to a year from now, just to kind of hang out. We're still having an issue here. So what you can do is pull off, I'm glad you mentioned this one, Ro, because what you can do is pull off that first finger. And it's almost like this really cool, just this really cool, like, scrape through the string set. I'll use the E major 9 or the E major 7 just to check that we're in tune. Okay, don't answer. Oh, I didn't see any comments. Yeah, I get kind of moving along, and I don't have a really great interface to look at, so I miss comments once in a while. So if you're here, if you've been here hanging out, you already realized that, but I'm going to answer that right now. Great question too. I really appreciate that question. John Mayer Neon. Hey, we just did a John Mayer tune on the channel, the last video that we did. Lake of Fire. Jeez, come on. Want to hear you right now. All right. What make is your guitar? The guitar is it's a Martin guitar, and it's a DX2E, and teach me John Mayer. Yeah, Neon. Yeah, good idea. Is it vintage make of guitar? It's a guitar. It's right off the shelf right now. You can get it on the internet. I've got a link to it on my channel. So if you do like what's going on here and you would like to support the channel somehow, you can purchase the guitar through a link in the description or whatever. You know, there's a list of all of the things that I use for my morning ritual on my channel. You can find that if you want. But it's the Martin DX2E. Find it anywhere you want, you know. It's a great guitar, you know. Yeah, it's a really fun guitar. I did a review on it on my channel. It's a full review, and you can see how much I like the gig bag that comes with it because it's killer. To me, I love this, the added value things. You know what I mean? So I did a review. You can search on my channel, the Martin DX2E. It's kind of a cool rig. I think you'll like it. Let me know if you go take a look at the video if you like it or not. I'd love to start playing songs right here, right now, but I know people are here at least for a warm-up, and I'm already 20 minutes in, so I'm keeping you right now. And on this very first Happy New Year's Day, and so we've got to get moving really quick with the warm-ups, and then we'll see what we can do for songs. I'm going to keep an eye out on those songs. So if you're going to hang out, most of the friends that show up here they're playing guitar with us, right? So at 60 beats per minute on the metronome, I'm just letting my metronome run, and you can use the metronome with me. And then what we're going to do is run through fingers 3 and 4 on 11 and 12. Excuse me, up and down, all the way to frets 1 and 2, and all the way back up. And then we're going to do that with fingers 2 and 3, and then 1 and 2. And then what we do is get our fingers prepared. This is the time that we take during the day to become guitar players in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. First thing in the morning. Why am I not doing this in the afternoon or at night when more viewers can take a look and benefit? Well, it's morning for me and here, and so I'm encouraging you to do this in the morning at first glance if you can too. First thing I like to do is wake up, play the guitar. That way I feel like a guitar player all day. I'm thinking guitar all day, and I can, after I warm up, it makes more sense to do all of the other work that I do with the guitar over the span of one day. So warm up is happening for me every day. Even when I was teaching 7 days a week, 6 hours a day, it was something that I would do every day. I'd show up an hour early, hour and a half, 2 hours early every day. Okay. Oh, you did? Yeah, this is semi-acoustic. We've got a plug-in over here too, and look how the plug-in it's not attached to the button. I thought it was really cool. The battery's stored in a separate compartment too. Watching the video in Ireland. Hey, Catherine. I don't know. So we did a great tour through Ireland over the past. Yeah, actually, my son and my daughter and son-in-law to be were engaged in Ireland on that family trip. We had a wonderful time. I would love to talk with you more offline about it. Wonderful time. The old Spire. Oh yeah, we went through the whole place, and we really enjoyed it. So thanks for watching and mentioning that. Yeah, we rented a buggy. I drove it on 2 wheels. I got to tell you, 2 wheels and then parked sideways, coming into a screeching. It was just so fun. I don't want to admit anything that I shouldn't admit on the internet. But first thing I like to do when I wake up is extend my alarm clock by 10 minutes. Yeah, I just get so excited to get down here with the guitar. So without further ado, here's the warm-up. We're starting. I usually count it off. 1, 2. You know what to do. But before we start, I usually tell you, I usually share how many. Today we're using 4 attacks per beat. Just because, actually, you know what? Why don't we use 4 attacks per beat? Ready? 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do E and a. So people, guitarists show up here because we're actually warming up together. So sometimes you'll see those who want to come and just kind of hang out and chat too, which is cool because it's another great place to answer questions while we're practicing in a guitar environment, because the guitarists who show up here are really accomplished. Some of us are really accomplished guitar players. Some of us tour, some of us play guitar around the campfire, some of us just kind of want to be here to hang out, chat, and learn about should I be playing guitar or not. So any of the people, in the live chat, they're great. They can answer questions as we play. And we're just burning through the, sometimes on Mondays we'll take it a little more gingerly, tiptoeing through the tulips, so to speak. We do this, 1 attack per beat, sort of very meditative approach on Mondays just to get that mind right. And we're doing fingers 2 and 3. 2 E and a 3 E and a, here we go. And then, oh sorry, I was on 11. Here's 11 and 12. Ready? 2 E and a T E and a fo E and a. Happy New Year once again. I feel like I'm sniffling and I'm going to cough here. It's going to be ugly, but I have to do it. I'm ill at the moment, and but I wanted to be here because I want to be here and start the right kind of tone for the new year. And I'm really, really excited to have all of you here today. And if you're new to the channel, this is just you know, something that we're doing all year long, every day, 5 days a week, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we might get into the Jennifer Batten two-handed stuff. We've got some Joe Satriani stuff coming up later with E Lydian, but symmetrical fingering. And then we've got a chord progression to think about while we're practicing that scale pattern. Yeah, the Jennifer Batten stuff is whole tone. You know, it's like whole tone, two-handed tapping stuff. So pretty, you know, fairly interesting material coming our way. So, but first we've got to warm up. We're starting on the bottom, fingers 1 and 2 now, frets 11 and 12. So have your guitar ready next time you come if you're not already playing a line. Excuse me. We're going to take, I have some notes here that I wanted to follow up with. So after I just had some chats come through, I want to take a break here and stretch, because I hear some people are already cramping up. Maybe the tempo is a little bit much for us. Breath is going to help oxygenate all of that tissue that we need oxygenated. So I'm not focusing enough on breath. I've got to admit, I am rushing a little bit this morning. But we're going to take a breather there, okay? We'll come back right to it. I'm going to stretch. We're doing the junior high school calisthenics here, you know, just a straight arm. Pull the, you know, we don't want to create micro tears in the tissue, so we're not yanking on it, but we definitely want to breathe. Fingertips being like leather are great, and I appreciate the plug from Ireland from our Dublin friends, Andrew Stevens. Yeah, we went over to the 𝗥𝗶𝘁𝗆 and we visited over there a little bit. We visited everywhere, really. I mean, we spent a week. We just motored around the whole island, and just we're completely blown away with the cultures we encountered, and the people were amazing. The people were amazing. The food was amazing. The Guinness was amazing. It was a wonderful, absolutely wonderful experience. So we're stretching and breathing. And what we're doing is we're engaged in a morning warm-up. Yeah, it was a little expensive. We got on horseback in Bantry. We rode around on horseback and Ban the Hills in Bantry, and then really enjoyed some of that. Man, it was just one of those things to remember. I think the tempo, I see that I've been playing 10 years and never picked up a plectrum. I suck so bad with a pick. I just wanted to see if 𝗬𝗏 is still around, because we have some requests for Midnight Rider. Wow, I missed that one. Zach Brandt, Happy New Year. I missed a few of these comments, I think. So if you're still here, 𝗬𝗏, let me know, because there might be some Nirvana coming up. If you're still kicking around. It was pretty, you know, but you know, it is it's expensive everywhere now, right? And if you're just playing with a pick if you're not playing with a pick, if you're here joining us and you want to join us, I'm using just alternating index and middle. You know, the index. Let me just see if I can get this turned over here so I can show you what I'm doing as a finger stylist. So. If you're not using a pick, you know, usually what I do is I'll give my fingers like equal tenure here. So I've got my basically reference point. So my thumb is my reference. It's a 0. So when I sweep, how do I do this? So how do I show this? Let me do this. So when I sweep my index finger in, it's like I'm going directly to my palm, but I don't. And then I find my 0 because this is 0. I've found a place that I call 0 on my thumb. I return to 0, I return to whenever, and then I use that same 0 transfers to this other side of that index finger. When I make, excuse me, I'm not feeling well, but when I make the stroke with the second finger, it's the same thing. You notice that my fingernails are in tough shape this morning, but usually they're up and ready to go. And so what I'll do is use 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and then a straight elbow, right? When the elbow perches on the top of the guitar, and then that's sort of my. I don't connect anywhere on this guitar surface because I don't want to retard or dampen the vibration of the spruce or the cypress top if I'm playing classical guitar. I don't want to dampen anything on the top of the guitar, but I do want to maintain control. So what I'll do to maintain that control is I get that. Here we go. Let me just turn it over here. I've got this perched. It's like right here. You know, it's almost halfway between my wrist and my elbow. So somewhere in here, you'll find a comfortable spot to perch your arm, and then it stays straight all the way to basically the fingertips. It should feel like you're reaching for the strings, right? Is that how you play? I know I see a finger stylist here. So Adam's a finger stylist, and you're more than welcome to you know, follow up with any of that, because there is a little frustration involved in the day-to-day of a guitarist's life, right? I mean, that's what we live for sometimes. Shave your bridge down. I'm missing some of what's going on here, I think. Oh, do you shave your bridge down? I do have them set up. I usually do all of the lutherie work myself because I can't find someone who I trust enough locally to do that anymore. There used to be a couple guys, but I just don't for whatever reason. I have all the tools, so I'll do it myself. I'll do a lot of that fingerstyle work. I myself have been a finger stylist for about a decade, or probably more, I guess. But just if you're seeing us do the pick work, but just remember that you're here and as a finger stylist, and if you're here as a finger stylist, if you want me to translate a little bit of what we're doing for your fingerstyle work, I'm more than happy to help assist with that. Okay, so don't hesitate. All right, so fingers 2, 3, and 4. Let's do that. Starting on 10, 11, and 12, and we're using still 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So 4 attacks per beat. 60 beats per minute. 1 and a 2E and a T-E and a da. out of tune here. Just checking the tuning. Like tweet. Excuse me. I'm here. Even I'm sick, but I'm still here. And I appreciate your patience while I'm sputtering along here. Sir, I'm still wondering what the function of the tailpiece on a guitar is. Does it improve the sound quality? Do you teach pentatonic scale? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Are you interested in learning some Balinesian folk music or what? Yeah, there's pentatonics is like an essential thing to look at. We'll definitely get there. Hang right out. Every day, we're doing this every day. So if you're across the pond over there and then you're enjoying time over there in Ireland, you know, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard is what? What time is it over there right now? But yeah, definitely check it out. We're here every day, 5 days a week, doing this kind of thing. We're warming up, prioritizing warm-up though. People come specifically for guitarists, show up all over the world specifically for the warm-up process. So I don't want to overlook that or discount that because of how important it is. So we'll start with fingers 1, 2, and 3, 4 tacks per beat, frets 10, 11, 12, and we're ready to go. Ready? 1 E and a 2 E and a you know what to do E and a. Oh, okay. So your afternoon. Yeah, what we're doing is just not this. We don't want to overlook it. I know it can seem it's not for everybody. But what we are doing is, yeah, we introduce new concepts, but we have the staples that we use. You know, we have the everyday workhorse things that we do to get all of the fingers, you know, the fretboard hand and the picking hands talking together in the same language. The same language is important because each hand has a completely different function, right? Yeah, and the tailpiece on a guitar, depending on what you have for the guitar and what the material is, depending on who you talk to, it's definitely going to influence the tone of the guitar, the tonal structure of the guitar. So yeah, do you have any additional questions about like what kind of tailpiece you're talking about? I struggle with strumming. Yeah, we talk about strumming as part of the warm-up session too. So everything that guitar players, all of the dilemmas that we run into day to day, like the basic fundamental things that we run in against every day, we have a systematic approach that we're teaching to dispel the ghosts. You know, we want to get rid of those things that we don't, you know, the spooky things in the guitar. We want to get rid of those things, right? So I'm just going to take a quick sip because I've got to remain hydrated. Also, I like to use my guitar as a workbench. So when we're writing, we're going to get to the point where I'm writing tablature out here while we're doing this stuff so I can send you notes and you can go and download the notes from these lessons on the website. JasonCareyGuitar.com is PineConeRecords.com has been kind enough to host for us for a period of time now. And they've been really helpful. But the old canning jars, if you don't have old canning jars kicking around, excuse me, I've got some hot tea I need to start working on too. Ginger lemon, right, honey? All right, now back at it. So to answer your question, Andrew, yeah, we want to move. Do you know how to play Steve Howe's clap? Wow, cat named dog. That's a really cool channel. That's a cool handle name right there. That's really fun. You in a band? That's a good question. You can check out my live stuff on the internet anywhere. It's Jason J. 𝗂𝗃. It's Jason J. 𝗂𝗃, like on Apple Music or Spotify. There's some music there that you can find if you'd like to. Yeah, right on. I appreciate that flamenco vibe. So we've got, you know, the Moors are, you know, that Moorish sort of flavor. So we've got fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now on position 9, we're just continuing. We're going to continue through our warm-up. I know I'm keeping you over now. We're well over the half-hour marker, but I've just got to get us through this warm-up. And I appreciate you being patient with me, and I appreciate you being here. And so what we're going to do is just continue. I see probably Anthony. Who's hitting that love button? Someone's smashing that love button, and it's probably Tony thinking, you know, just get on with it, dude. Yeah, what a wonderful person. He dropped the $50 super chat yesterday, and just like, talk about shots in the arm. So finger 1, all right, 9, we've got finger 1 on fret number 9, and we're using 1, 2, 3, 4. We're using frets 1, 2, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and we're just using 4 attacks per beat again. 1 E and a 2 E and a. It's going to look just like this, as a matter of fact. So you can join in. I'm going to count us off right now. Are you ready? Right. If you're in a band, you would say, are you ready? So you get everyone's attention. And then you begin the count off. 1 E and a 2 E and a. You know what to do, E and a. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can find me at Jason J. 𝗂𝗃 on YouTube, too. I'm all over the place. Yeah, and what we do, we're trying not to limit ourselves to any one genre or skill set, but we are becoming expert in self-improvement right now through this process with breathing. So if you can control, the theory is if you can control your breath, I'm not sure if you read any Kenny Werner stuff like Effortless Mastery or not, but there's this just breathing process that we want to separate our breath, our cardiovascular system, you know, the pumping and thumping. We want to separate that from the mechanical process that we employ with our picking hands and our fretting hands. Because we don't want to have, you know, create problems longitudinally for ourselves. But we also, that being said, we could just be mindless guitar players and just play countless notes without needing to take a breath like a horn player. We don't want to do that all the time, right? It just causes it's great, it's pretty flashy, and it's awesome for about 10 minutes until your audience gets emotionally, like, you know, punch drunk. You know, you heard all the notes you can hear in like 15 minutes. That's cool. It's super cool. And then if you're that's an entirely separate subject. But what we want to do now is use that 3rd and 4th finger stretch, which we did not do. So we're going to go back for a second. Use finger 3 and 4. Finger 3 is on fret 10. Finger 4 is on fret 12. And we love this one for our Ted Greene chord chemistry series. The fellows and ladies here who are enjoying the Ted Greene chord chemistry series. These exercises really help to improve those chord situations, right? They make them more pleasant and more palatable. So we have this finger 3 and 4, frets 10 and 12, and we're using 4 attacks per beat. 1, 2 E and a T E and a, here we go. And 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a 1 E blah 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 blah. Yeah. So we'll carry on. And once I start an exercise, I just assume that you're playing along, so I don't want to break the exercise and then just kind of mess you all up. because some people are definitely here. I know some people are definitely here practicing along, wanting to get the seat time in, get the job done. And as you get through, I've been working on this particular exercise for a few weeks now. You can go back and look at the first live stream, this vertical live stream that we did in this series, this morning ritual guitar, guitar growth morning ritual routine. And you'll see that I'm always interested in incorporating that fourth finger and finding ways to get that fourth finger to sit at the table, and not only sit at the table, but when it's time to pass the maple syrup or the honey, the fourth finger can also do that, right? So fingers 2 and 3, same thing. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. And and questions are great. Love the questions. I would encourage more questions, but I know it's not productive if you're trying to practice along. The hardest one for me still is the second and third finger group, like they're landlocked salmon, you know what I mean? They just do not want to do it for some reason. It's just a hard thing to stretch one fret between those two fingers. I'm okay with it, I'm getting better with it, but I'm really feeling that, they're almost operating under duress, I'm coercing them to do the dirty work, and it's really going to cause me to need to stretch. So if you have questions, I'm going to stretch in just a few minutes. Hey, we made 21 likes. 21 likes, that's great. That's a benchmark for us, right? Thank you for helping us get there. Fingers 1 and 2. Oh yeah, I wanted to say I do have a stretch coming up right after the sequence. So if you have questions, right now is a good time to drop the questions, because while I stretch in the next 1.5 minutes, I'm going to have time to address some questions. 1 E and a 2 E and a, jump on with me right no, right here, that didn't work. 1 E and a 2 E and a, here we go. Can't forget my posture. Breathing is second to nothing. Breathing is primary skill for playing guitar. That felt good. That felt really good. We're going to do a stretch between fingers 2 and 4. Now we're going to use fingers 2 and 4 on frets 9 and 12. Ready? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, this one and the next one, and we'll be ready for a stretch. Look at that. Look at those fingers go. If you're playing and you're watching yourself, be super proud of the coordination between the pick hand and the fret hand. And you'll find that it doesn't take much to find contentment as long as we're counting our blessings. If we count the things that we do not have, that's not I try to get rid of that pattern in my mind. That's one of the first things. After I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is smile and think to myself, I got this. And then the day, that sets the tone for the whole day. You'd be surprised, man. It's just, here we go, fingers 1 and 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a, Happy New Year. Welcome to the channel. I see some new faces here today, new names. We're doing I'll just bring you up to speed. we're doing is every day in 2025. This is the first official day. We've been doing this for a few weeks now. The first official day. We're doing this every day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're all gathering to better ourselves and our families and our communities and the world at large through the guitar. It's that simple. That's what we're doing, is we're practicing self-discipline, number one, by getting here. We're improving the act of getting here, and commitment, and breathing, and tuning, and practicing, and so many things, like a roller. Yeah, what's going on, Booty? Yep. Bless Ivan Dimov. Bless Dimov. Bless new 2025. You're all good. Thank you so much. Hey, Moody. What's going on this morning? Hold on. Bear with me just for a second. I'm going to just double check the guitar. I think I'm falling out of tune a little bit. If you have, I wanted to mention, if you have specific things that you'd like to see done that fall outside the scope of this warm-up pattern, I do offer channel memberships, which gives us access to meet in other live streams, wider, more technically oriented song-based live streams. So where we actually transcribe the songs that we want to and break the songs down in real time and address any questions that you might have in real time. So I would highly recommend that you jump on that opportunity. I think they're set up to be pretty affordable. But those live streams are designed for members only, and then they would, we'd show up together like what we're doing today. But then we have the back and forth about, what is Bob Dylan, what is Mr. Dylan using for a G chord? Well, why is he using that G chord instead of, the Nashville G chord? Why is he using the, the Pete Seeger style G chord? And then what's, how's he playing that? Why is it? What's the strum pattern, and probably we should learn to play out the melody on any song that we ever do, right? Yeah, Knocking on Heaven's Door. Lennon and McCartney, A Day in the Life. Yeah, right on. Yeah. All right. So I hear some really great requests coming in. Earlier on, we had some requests for some Midnight Rider. And Nirvana, some of the old school Nirvana. We also had some technical issues with hands cramping up, so I want to make sure that we don't. Just give me one moment while I go back through. I have Ivan's asking about D minor pentatonic, please, and Day in the Life, Knocking on Heaven's Door, so Hotel California. All of these songs that you're requesting, sometimes they're already existing on our channel and they've already been broken down. So if you happen to, if my teaching style is a good fit for you, jump on a channel membership. I forget which one. There's a standard. There are only 2 tiers of channel membership, so it's really easy to choose which one you need. But go ahead and jump on a tier of channel membership, and then we can set up like live streams where we set an agenda and then we talk about the songs that we want to talk about. Otherwise, what's going to happen is what we do is we scan through all of the requests, like the song requests in this live stream, and we keep those in a database and then we build those into if they're not already on the channel, and you can go back and search the channel, but we'll build those into the channel if we have if it aligns with the production process and stuff like that. So the song requests are definitely are important because it helps us to understand where the temperature is. Do you know what I mean? So let's take a quick look. I've heard some people talking about strums. We'll get to the Jennifer Batten two-handed tapping techniques with the augmented scale in a few minutes, and Joe Satriani's sort of like you know, the basically thrash soloing sort of like skill set. We'll get to that in a moment, but we're pretty well warmed up for today. Although if you want to hang out, Moody, we're gonna work on some covers and kind of blast through some stuff. You know, the super chat's also available on this channel, and that is a helpful thing to keep. You know, you can't change the world if you can't keep the lights on. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through and done enough housekeeping here. So I'm going to go through and back. Let's go back up to position number. Let's start in position number 9. We'll do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go back down a position 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, down, and then. So what we're doing is 1, 2, 3, 4 in a diagonal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 in the reverse diagonal, and then shift that position down a half step, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 in the reverse pattern, shift that down, which is the same place from whence we came. Okay, we're going to work through that together in this morning ritual. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a. This gets really tricky when you start doing quintuplets or fives. If everything goes well, I might try to just get through these in fives too. I saw somebody, I didn't miss that, I saw somebody smashing that love button. Same thing on the 4 middle strings. 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a. I love that song requests are coming in. I just love to hear what people are listening to and what people are interested in playing. Like, what are you here for? You know what I mean? Like, what is the music that speaks to you? I love that you're willing to share that music with us. And then back down to the 4 middle string, 4 bottom strings. 1 E and a 2 E and a T and a 4 E and a. A large part of the warm-up that I'm talking about right now is building technical proficiency in between the fretting and picking hands while balancing out the physical parts of, you know, my breath is an important piece, my posture is an important piece of what's happening here. But you'll do a month of this kind of work and then realize, oh my word, my hands can do this. And it's like, you know, it just feels good to be able to do something like that. And you know. You know, it feels really good to be able to do something that's fast and excuse me, and gets the adrenaline kind of ripping, you know. But right now, let's just kind of take a look at this 1, 2, 3, 4 in quintuplets, or 5 attacks per beat. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, so I'll probably likely be quiet for most of this, but it is it is a thing. Hey, could you try Sultans of Swing? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we could try something like that, but just to be full disclosure here, I do most of this time is specifically dedicated to morning warm-up. And part of morning warm-up is chasing the dragon, a discovery-based method, right? So some of these things, like the things that just kind of shoot into and out of the mind, I try to encourage us to not do that while we're trying to focus on getting the drilling correct, you know, getting the focus correct. But there's a certain amount of discovery-based learning that has to occur in order for us to move from the known to the unknown, right? And keep doing that known to the unknown, and just keep acquiring more real estate in the known, our known world. So I appreciate those. I definitely appreciate those requests. So keep them coming in, you know. And if we don't get to them here, we'll likely get to some of them here. But if we don't, you can always come back to the channel and search for some of those songs, because some of those songs might already exist in some form or another as a guitar lesson on, you know, free guitar lesson on my channel here at 𝗀𝘀 Guitar. So you can do that. All right, so let's think about 5. We have 5 arms, you know, 5 limbs. We have a head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. So pentambrous nature is pretty natural for us, you know. We just don't practice it. Here we go. All right, so we survived the warm-up. Happy birthday is not allowed to play. Oh, what? All right, what did I miss? Can you try Sultans of Swing? Hey, could you try making a Heaven's Door? Yep, knocking on Heaven's Door. Filmcraft. Good morning. Knocking on Heaven's Door. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday is not allowed to play. Knocking on Heaven's Door is G, D, A minor, C. Enjoy. It is a Martin. It is a Martin guitar. It's the DX2E. Here's the back. You know, it's a pretty cool looking guitar. You know, kind of goth. It's someone who said goth. It looks like a gothic representation. You see the little bat. You see the little bat face here, and the little wings. I think that's pretty cool. I'm just finishing being ill for a few days, so excuse me. Yeah, the sweep picking is awesome. So it would be just down, but a really controlled down, you know, not separate. It'd be just, you know, a nice sweep, right? Of course, that's what sweep means. Here, let me just kind of switch this over here so you can take a look at the right hand in that situation. And the left hand is, you know, the fretting hand is just doing the same stuff that you've already seen. But this is fascinating. know, it's just fascinating the way the picking hand works. A nice even it's just really fascinating what you can get out of the guitar. Do you know what I mean? Just so many cool things to do with the guitar. So what are you thinking? Like, what did Raoul say? So G, D, A minor, C, right? So part of warming up is going to be just this real quick. So if anyone who requested this wants to drop me a super chat, that's kind of, you know, that would be a good time to do that. But I'm working on just downstrokes, and this is part of my warm-up would be just rhythmic, just calculate rhythmically where I'm supposed to be. It feels like I'm all over the place. So if I really wanted to focus on my right hand and just quarter notes. Can you hear my metronome? And for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, you know, you might think about some Ted Greene chords with this, you know. So we could really have some fun with that, right? Sweet child of mine. Yeah, all right. Now you're talking. How long have you been playing the guitar? Yuda, good morning. Hey, good morning. I've been playing the guitar, you know, a while, just a hot minute, you know, not too long, not too short. Probably, you know, I was teaching professionally and back in the day for, you know, a while. How long have you been playing the guitar? That sounded good. Oh, yeah, you dug that? Thank you. What happens if we played Knocking on Heaven's Door as a discipline? Let's say that we have an idea and we have a compositional idea, and I wanted to use a drone string like a G note, which could work, right? It could work because we have an open G string. And I know we start on G, right? And then we move to G, and then to D, and then to C, and then in some cases A minor, which would basically be the same two notes as the C chord, right? We could use like this, you know, we could use that, but we're basically using triads. The second time around would be G, D, and then A minor. Oh, and C, the second time around is C, right? The first time around is G, and then D, A minor, and then G. And then that would be kind of compositionally how I would approach performing that. If I was to, you know, absorb the song, try to make it my own, try to put it in my set list, and then I'd play, you know, how would Dave Matthews play the song? I mean, that's the first thing. What would Dave Matthews do? You know, I was growing up in the bike shop, ratcheting bikes together, you know, when Trek and mountain bikes were just becoming a thing, and we always had Nirvana. There was Dave Matthews. All this stuff was new, fresh, and very exciting. Very exciting. Fish. And, you know, did I say Dave Matthews yet? So maybe there's a, you know, a cool, like, root 5/3 voicing. And then maybe we can play a little Ted Greene out of respect for Mr. Greene, the late, great Mr. Greene. We can throw that major 7 on the top. and we could use a G and then D, or the D here, and then or the D here with the third in the bass, or the 5 in the bass, and then excuse me, I'm really just on the tail end of a really nasty cold. So we've got this really cool like intro. And if you get out of line, just work with it. See where it takes you. Most of us don't want to hear perfection in playing. We want to hear risk being taken in our arrangements and our playing. So when we hear this, also know that it's not going to do this all day because it's going to get boring. So that might just be the intro to kind of help the listener wonder about what it is I'm trying to do. And then we can just knock, 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 knock. Pedal tone a D note because that's the 5 of G. And then when you come off the 5 chord and it explodes back into the the tonic area of the song, it becomes a really explosive experience and an emotional experience for the audience. So there are a lot of things to talk about during a warm-up period, and what are the things, the reason why I'm warming up, not that I need to justify it to anybody. Other than myself, you have your own justifications that you no longer need to justify to anyone but yourself. But for what I'm doing, I'm just doing it because I want to improve myself as a human being. I want to improve my breathing. I want to improve my abilities on the guitar. I want to improve my confidence on the guitar. I want to improve my my abilities to interact with. I just want to improve everything. So the warm-up for me is a way to do that. It's a method to improve, and it doesn't. It can take a little bit of time for the light to switch on for me. But you start to see what the warm-ups are doing for you in a few weeks' time, a few months' time, and you're like, wow, this crazy old dude is just sitting here 5 days a week at 7:30 in the morning just playing guitar with people he doesn't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do it anyway, so I may as well. What the goal is to take from today, let's say today, we've got, you know, the first video, which was a few weeks ago. We're going to take that video right there, and then a year from now, we're going to take the video, the live stream there. We're going to compare the two different technical processes, where we're at here, where we're at then. And we're going to literally overlay that. We're going to literally watch the benefit and the technical benefit that we've gained over the space of 150 practice hours over the next year, this next year, 2025. It's happening right now. We're actively engaged in the process. It's already happened. We just need to execute the plan now, right? So, and there are other things that are going to happen, other benefits that are going to just pop up during this process that are going to be very exciting. Some things are going to be a little less exciting, and we're going to have to either decide whether we want to push on or not. And it's, you know, I'm not going to judge you whether you push on or you don't. We're all going to make our own decisions, but this is definitely a project, and there's a reason why I'm doing this, right? And so, you know, I've got my statue in front of a university. I don't talk about very much at all. I've just done a lot of things that I only measure against myself. I don't measure against what others are doing, what others think I should be doing. And I think the people who are here are the ones, if you're here, you're definitely a person who should be here. And you may grow to love me, you may grow to hate me, and it's okay. I'm a big person, I don't, you know, I can handle it. But if you find someone else who could benefit from this series, if you have a friend or a family member or another guitarist who could benefit from this sort of formal structure, just send the link to them and just notify them, and then we can. The family is definitely growing, right? It's growing for sure, and it's going to get probably pretty large over the span of a year. That's my guess. Maybe it'll just fizzle out. Maybe I'll be the last one standing, but I'm going to do it, right? But if you find that someone else could benefit from this stream and this repetition of events, this organization of thoughts and staying focused, just go ahead and share it. I'd love to have more of those kinds of people here with us, okay? Hands on is where it's at. Oh yeah, Mark, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, amen, brother. Amen. Gotta run. Kevin, hey, nice to see you. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I've just realized what time it is. I'm gonna get rolling too. I don't want to keep all of you, but thank you, Kevin. Great to see you. I hope you had a good morning and great start to the new year. And I'm so happy that you were part of it. And I hope you have a happy new year and wonderful day today. And happy picking, bro. And how could someone hate you, man? You're such a sweet person. Yuda, hey, I appreciate that. It's good. You'd be surprised. Some of the boardrooms I've walked into and cleaned out, yeah, it's a long story, but I'm usually the face to hate. Love your haters. That's right. Well, that's the thing, right? So that's a hard lesson to learn, and it is really, it's a valuable lesson to learn. It really is. And but if you're gonna love them to the point where they don't necessarily always need to be there, right? We had to, just try to reduce the noise, and that's what we're trying to do. The metronome is going to reduce that noise. It's going to help us focus on the breath and controlling breath and separating that from what we're doing technically on the instrument. Any last questions? Any final questions? I mean, what else do we hear? Do we hear? There were some Nirvana fans on earlier. What else? Intro. One last breath. Oh man, I've missed some stuff here. Gun Anwar. Sorry about that. I missed that. Let's talk a little bit about Boogie Woogie. Yeah. This is kind of like what comes to mind when I think Boogie Woogie. It's really just a matter of sitting down and doing the thing. So I have Neilon. Thank you very kindly, Raul. I definitely appreciate the commentary and the prompts and you being there. You know, you mentioned something about also on a video I wanted to cover with you while you're here, and I really appreciate all of your things are so all of your comments are so thoughtful, and you raise a great point. You know how when I forget what video was it on the I think it was on the what was it? Help me out here. You mentioned about using tablature on the video, like a video like overlay. What? Why am I not able to think about that? Free falling. Yeah, it's free falling, right? So here's my dream, right? So do you remember how like when YouTube came out, like, or MTV came out, MTV hit, and it was like the very first video on YouTube was like "Video Killed the Radio Star," right? And then so it was just like, excuse me. So MTV basically turned an art form that was designed to be an audible, you know, something for the ears, something for that sense organ, an art form that's specifically designed for us to absorb with maybe closed eyes and then open ears, right? Open ears. Steve Morse used to write a column for Guitar for the Practicing Musician called Open Ears. It was literally about the ears. And so video killed the radio star, right? So that's the, you know, video killed the radio star, that song. Very first video on YouTube, as you might know. I do play electric guitar, yes. And because they're separate instruments, we're going to warm up on electric guitars and acoustic guitars with whammy bars, strats with hardtails, and I'll try to give you a heads up when it's time to bring your electric guitar. It's coming soon. We've got some Stevie Ray Vaughan. We're going to live Stevie Ray Vaughan vicariously through Stevie Ray Vaughan's techniques for, so bring your electric guitar and amp, and we're going to do that as a morning. That'll be a morning warm up. You have to warm up separately because they're two separate instruments. So I'm going to jump back to Raul. So I just wanted to, if you don't mind, I just wanted to let you know, like, I always had these guitar teachers when I was doing in-person lessons, my first private sessions, the guitar teacher would make notes. And I would never look at the notes. I would always look at what the guitar player was doing, the guitar teacher was doing, because the guitar teacher was the master, right? And the guitar teacher was definitely the master. All of the guitar teachers I've ever had have always been masters, and like some of them masters with black belts, and some of them masters with black belts that turn back to white. You know what I mean? They're all masters in their own right, but at different levels. So I always wanted to absorb what was going on exactly with the feel of the pick, with the feel of the hands, because you could have a $40 guitar and make it sound like $1 million as long as your touch is there. My old cousin, like, I'm just going to refer back to Petey again. It's all in the fingers, man and woman. It's all in the fingers. Every single bit of tone is in the fingers, okay? It's just, it's all there. So I wanted to absorb all of that. And I know I love to see, the chord labels and stuff and all of this stuff, tablature going, but I'm not really feeling it. I want to try to promote. I don't know if I'm hitting the button right or not, but I want it to be like a more like person-to-person experience, like we're in the same room together. Like if I feel like I'm playing something that might be difficult, I'll be like, hold on, wait a minute, and break it down, and then really, you could always put it in halftime on YouTube or pause it and take a look at the fingering patterns. But I'm going to keep these things, like one of my favorite chords, on the chalkboard here, on the board, because I know you're looking at it, because I used to look at it, right? And I still look at it. If I wanted to play Shakti, some like, you know, that John McLaughlin stuff where like the quintuplets that Yngwie would play, you know, like just like he was breathing air. I wanted to make sure that I'm doing this in a connected way. I'm not doing this to be above where the viewer is, or, you know, beneath where you are. I want to try to meet you where you're at, okay? And if what you are looking at is you want tablature overlays on my video, and that's, I'm listening. I'm listening, and I'm very thoughtful about the things that we produce and that we let out of house here. At least in our curated videos, and you're seeing that I'm just kind of babbling right now, but these are just thoughts that roll. When I see those comments, all of those comments get filtered back to me, and then we make decisions on what we're going to let out of house here. So you're definitely influencing, especially friends like Raul. They're definitely influencing the path forward for the channel. So we definitely appreciate it. All of that feedback, if it's constructive, you know, like we saw yesterday, if it's just overhanded, you know, there's a difference between being rude and being constructive, right? As we saw yesterday's live stream. But I'm definitely appreciating the comments, so keep those rolling in for sure. And I apologize for having the cold here. I play electric guitar. What's your favorite, electric or acoustic? I'll tell you what my favorite electric guitar is in just 1 second. Alex, what's going on? The way you play those strings has me salivating. Wow. Yeah, did you bring your drool cloth, man? Or woman, I don't know, man or female. I'll bet your $40 guitar, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'll buy your $40. Oh, that's funny. Oh boy, you're hitting the button. Yep. All right. The sound comes from the right hand, Keith Richards says. I'm Indian, so I would qualify, I would just say American. You know, and I'm proud to be American in the similar way that you're likely proud to be Indian. And we love to try to absorb as many cultural experiences as we can. And certainly on this channel, and certainly in our family lives, we try to absorb as much of that as we can. If you have any pointers for us here, I would love to hear pointers. I did study raga in England for a while with an Indian master, and so I do have a deep appreciation for that. For that sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, and then that ancient musical system. I have a deep appreciation and love for it. Let's see, we had drama. Yeah, you. I don't think we did. I think it was just a learning. It's all a learning experience for me. I like America. You know, I love it all. Do you have any tips for traveling with a guitar and a gig bag during the winter? I'm worried about warping and cracks. Are you traveling with the guitar in an airplane, or are you traveling? How are you traveling with the guitar? Because if you're traveling with a $5,000, you know, if you're traveling with a $1,500 guitar and you put it in check and it goes in a gig bag and it goes in check luggage, you know, I would never do that. But if you have no other choice but to do that, if you can't afford to buy it a seat, put it next to you, then put it in check. You know, just don't limit your life. I mean, if the guitar warps and it cracks and it's not a very expensive guitar, then don't worry about it. You can always buy another guitar. You know, you can work a week or two and get another guitar. But if your guitar is a really nice guitar, you might want to get, I have some cases in the studio, I'll bring some up, I can, but they're like, you know, sealed case, environmentally sealed travel flight cases. And then you know, with hydrometers in there or whatever, and hydration tools that you put in the cases that keeps the wood good. At elevation, you know, any guitar is susceptible to anything. If you're in a pressurized cabin, that's why I'm recommending buying it a seat. I've done that. I've taken my guitar and let one of my arch top guitars go in check, and I'll never do it again. Right? It's just me. I wasn't in a situation to buy a seat for it at the time, and so I would recommend, if you're flying, to get the appropriate travel case for it, and make, unless you're going to buy it a seat. Buy it a seat, you know. We are all brothers and sisters in the family of humanity, and life is cosmic giggle in the breath of the universe. Oh, you absolutely, yeah. It's all, we're all part of the same, you know, it's a universe, it is a universal consciousness, right? That's same as modes. Ciao. Ciao from Italy. Right on. Good morning. How are you today? I'm a classical singer. You are. Okay. Human equals human. Yeah, that's not a very, I mean, for some of us, that's a pretty difficult thing to understand, isn't it? It can be a challenging thing to get. But it's, and it's really challenging when you're the one being like, you know, beaten in the chest and then called the name, and just to stand by and take it, you know. But it is a thing, sure. Yeah, it's harder for some than others. Welcome Sonny from Italy. So what happened? Ciao for sure. I used to teach long story short, what we're actually doing here, in case you want to be present again. So it's every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing a morning guitar ritual, right? It's a ritual for guitar growth for myself and for all of those others who are joining us. And this is the official first one of 2025. We're going to run it for the year, 5 days a week at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. If you feel like you want to improve yourself and your family and your community and the world at large through the guitar, we're going to run those. We're just going to run that program, okay? And you're more than welcome to join us. It's free. But there is an opportunity. Some of us have figured this out. We had a really great day yesterday with Super Chat, and you can contribute to the channel and help keep the lights on here by sharing anything you feel like you can share through Super Chats or through channel memberships. Channel memberships here are a great way to get on live streams that are widescreen live streams, and when we can, you know, basically talk about the same things we're talking about here, but we're not focused solely on morning warm up. We're going to focus on breaking down songs, ear training, how to transcribe, learning how to transcribe, learning how to learn, all of those things that whatever you might want to talk about. And that's one of the benefits and the perks of kind of owning a channel membership for a period of time. And so it's, yeah, anyway. Oh, Summit. Good morning. Excuse me. I wanted to get to two things today, so I am going to do that. I had a goal, and I know we're not doing this, so I wanted to get this out. And just take a quick look at who this is. I don't know if you can see who this is or not. I've been going through some of these old, you know, guitar magazines, and Jennifer Batten does this really cool thing. I wanted to try it out on acoustic guitar. It's the fresh whole tones. So Jennifer Batten does this fresh whole tones thing. It's on page 48 of the Guitar for the Practicing Musician magazine. It's March 1990, and I don't know where I found this. I just found it somewhere, and. So Jennifer Batten writes, like, fresh whole tones. One way to get a fresh whole tone sound from your scale run is to leave out a note or two. In this session, she's got two whole tone scale runs, right? From the first note of each, I've left out the 5th degree in the first octave and the 4th degree in the second octave. So interesting stuff. Interesting enough, it's two-hand tapping. So we're gonna have to work on left hand, right, 7 and 9. So I don't know if you're game for this. Let's do it real quick. Keith Richards, yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're talking about some good things here. So we're talking about whole tone scale, E whole tone. So E, and then fret 7 on the A, E, and then we're hammering on to 11, and then 13. And I'm going to use, 60 beats per minute, just like we do in everything else. And then I'm going to use just a comfortable tempo, 1 attack per beat, and I'm tapping each one of these notes on. And it's just a little bit of an issue to get that third finger working for me, but it's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off. If I'm going up, I'm always going to pull off. I'm going to turn it into my own little mini exercise. Please play My Heart Will Go On. All right. If you bear with me just for a moment. So we've got 7, 9, same thing happening here on the G string. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then flat 7, 1, 2, 3. And it's the same by leaving out that one note. That's this. We get to use the symmetrical pattern here. I'm gonna have to work on my third finger a little bit, right? But then I've got another one here. I'm just going to shift up 1 fret and use the same pattern. So I'd have 7, 9, 11, and 13, 7, 9, 11, and 13, 8, 10, 12, and 14. So really interesting stuff here. And of course, if we're ascending the shape, we can descend the shape. So I'm going to try to incorporate some more of this kind of thing into my day-to-day playing, right? And hopefully that's something that you want to do. And maybe it's not something you want to do, but at least now we've been exposed to it. So we have this really cool like Lydian mode from that works with Joe Satriani's talking about this a little bit too, about playing the E5. Just E7, right? Just really simple. And then B, it's basically B flat diminished with no third. Anyway, so there's that rhythmic riff if you wanted to use it. Now you can use, here's a really cool thing to do. If you wanted to use this as Lydian, you could start with open E, fingers 1, 2, 4, and then so open 2, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, and then we're using the same 3 fingers for the bottom 3 strings. So here's a really great way to just kind of link into a flow state of left-hand work. since they're all they're all the same fingering, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. They're really, we're setting ourselves up for a lot of slur work or sort of like legato style playing. Then we shift up one position and use 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 3, 4. And we're playing in multiple positions here. And what we want to do is we want to get rid of that. We don't really want to hear that we're changing positions here. So by the time we get to this octave here, we've got 1, 1, 2, 4, and then we shift up to position 3. And then we shift up to position 4, and we stay there because that's the other root note. So we can really just work that 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and then jump up to position number 9 and use that do, la, ti, do. So we have do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. And then do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. And so you have a really cool like riff that you could play underneath it, and some new scales to take a look at for the span of the day. And we've completed our warm-up section. I've kept you way over today. And for those of you who are just coming on board, we've just started our official drop for the first session of the year. We're doing this all year long, every morning, 5 days a week anyway. 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to, usually it's a half an hour, but it's apparently running over a little bit today. 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 days a week, and this is a morning ritual for guitar growth, which is specifically designed for warm-up. So it's not for everybody. It's for those of us who want to improve our guitar lives, and we want to do it in a very controlled and clinical way, but fun and productive way. All right? So thank you very much for joining today. I will see you all tomorrow morning at the same bat time, same bat channel. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. Thank you very much. Oh, I've got a few more questions. As a beginner, watching you play really motivates me a lot, knowing I have so much more to learn. Yeah, I feel that same way. I feel that same way every time I pick up the guitar. There is just so much to learn, and the focus that we gain from the benefit, one of the benefits from focused practice time for warm-up, specifically for warm-ups and not getting too off into the weeds, we have the capacity to wonder about those things and focus on what we're going to cover next. So part of the function of the warm-up is just that, to help us focus on a path forward for ourselves that works for me, works for you, and you know, all of that stuff. Is this a major scale? It is a major scale. It was a major, it's the mode of major. It was the Lydian mode with a raised fourth. Yep. So you can go back and look at that if you want. This video should post right away, but if it doesn't, let me know. Once again, any other last minute questions? I'm going to hang out for a second and just keep closing this up. But I really appreciate you all being here. Yeah, have a nice day, Raul. All right, great. I think we're going to do it. I hope you guys have a wonderful guitar day. See you tomorrow, and until we meet then again.